Hello all, we are going to see Robert Gaines's phases of learning. Okay, what is Robert Gaines's phases of learning sequence? This is nothing but he has told about the 4 phases of learning. The first one is known as the apprehension phase. What is the apprehension phase? This is the first phase of learning is the apprehension phase. It is the learning awareness. Now the learner. We talk about the learner. Okay, now this learner is aware. This learner is learner's awareness of the stimuli or set of stimuli which are present in a learning situation. He is aware of the set of stimulus. Okay, this learner is aware of the set of stimuli which is present in the learning situation. Now, awareness or attending will lead to the learner to perceive characteristics of the set of stimuli. Now he perceives. After he is aware, he is perceiving it. What is perceiving? Okay, now the learner is aware of the set of stimulus. Now he perceives the set of stimulus, and how he perceives in the uniquely coded by each individual. Okay, the set of stimulus is same for all the learners, but each and every learner he perceives in his own way and he codes them in his unique way. Okay, that is according to his we can say how environment have molded him. So all this makes him unique. So his coding is also unique, and this is what he called this unique way of coding is nothing but idiosyncratic. Okay, idiosyncratic. What is idiosyncratic? Idiosyncratic means it's the individual in his own way he is coding, in which the learner apprehends the given stimulus. He is apprehending the given stimulus, and this is the result of teaching and learning. Right? Every learner, when a set of stimulus is given to the learner, he perceives in a unique way and he codes them in the unique way. That is coded in his mind in a unique way. And this is known as idiosyncratic. Right? That is the first phase of learning. And this is known as the first phase of learning according to the Robert Gaines. And we are going to the second phase of learning. What is the second phase of learning? Second phase of learning is nothing but acquisition phase. Okay, now the stimulus is present to the learner. Now he is going to understand it. The next phase of learning is the acquisition phase. It is attaining or possessing the fact, skill, concept or principle. Now he is going to possess the skill, concept or principle. It may be fact also, right? Which is to be learned. Okay, so in the next phase, what the learner is doing, now we go to the next phase. Okay, in the next phase, the learner is attaining or possessing the facts. His mind, it possesses the facts. His mind possesses the facts. Or there are 4 we have told, skill, mathematical fact, concept. It may be concept, whatever is stimulus is given, or it may be principle, mathematical principle. Okay, it is attaining or possessing the fact. The acquisition of mathematical knowledge can be determined by observing or measuring. Now whether the learner has attained or not, now how it is observing. Okay, how you understand that? You can observing or measuring. it is observable and measurable. So observing and measuring the fact that the person, previously the person don't have. But first is he does not possess. Now after the stimuli he possesses. First is does not. He does not possess the this fact, skill, concept. But after the stimulus, he is now possessing. Okay, previously he don't have, now he is having. This is observable and measurable. That is, acquisition of mathematical knowledge can be determined by observing or measuring the fact that a person does not possess the required knowledge or behavior before an appropriate stimulus is presented, and that he or she has attained the required knowledge. Now he attained. Now we can say does not possess, now he has attained. He has attained that fact, stimulus, or fact, skill, or whatever it is. Okay, he has attained the required knowledge or behavior immediately after presentation of the stimulus. Immediately after presentation of the stimulus, now stimulus is presented. Okay, after the stimulus is presented, first the person does not possess. Okay, after the stimulus is given, now he is attaining. Okay, this observable, and this is observable and measurable. This is some sort of behavior or knowledge. This learner has attained some behavior or knowledge. You can say this learner has attained some behavior or knowledge. Okay, he has attained some behavior or knowledge. That is, the person does not possess the required knowledge or behavior. Okay, after the appropriate stimulus is presented, and that he has attained the required knowledge or behavior. This is immediately after the stimulus is presented to the learner. And the third stage is known as the storage phase. Okay, in the storage phase, after the person has acquired a new capability, it must be retained or remembered. Okay, he has attained a new capability, it should be retained in his memory. Okay, this is the storage phase of the learner. The human storage facility is the memory. Okay, and research indicates that there are two types of memory. They are short-term memory and long-term memory. Okay, so now he has attained some knowledge. The learner has attained some knowledge, and this knowledge should be there in his memory, right? It goes to his memory. Okay, and it is retained in his memory, right? Retained in his memory, he remembers. If he retains means he remembers. The storage phase, this is known as a storage phase. So the human storage facility is nothing but what is the facility we are having? We are having the memory. So there are two types of memory. One is short-term memory and the long-term memory. Suppose you learn for your exam. Okay, that is what exactly happens. When you learn for exam, when you write the test, or write the exam, you remember everything. As soon as you come out of the exam, you totally forget about it. When it is asked, you say, no, I forgot, because it is stored. Okay, we are taking in the short-term memory. We are not storing it for a longer period of time. Actually, this is not the correct example. Suppose you add two numbers, right? 45 plus 32, something like that. 45 goes to your mind and 32 goes to your mind, it adds and the answer comes out. So these two numbers, which is just in the short-term memory, right? Because for that particular answer question only, your memory acts, right? And later on you forget that number, what two numbers you have added, because that two numbers you have added and got the answer, then forget about it, right? But in the long, that is short-term memory. It goes somewhere, it is stored, and it is you, whenever you want, you take it back and forget about it. And long-term memory means once it is learned, it is forever. It is there in your mind forever. This is known as the long-term memory. Next is the, when it goes to the memory, then we have to retrieve it, right? The retrieval phase. Suppose something is stored in your memory, there are quite possible that you might have experienced during the examination, you might have studied, okay, but as soon as you enter the examination, you feel that as if you forgot everything. So unable to retrieve the information in the correct time. It happens for many times, right? The fourth phase of learning, this is the fourth phase of learning, is the retrieval phase. Means why you are forgetting, why you are unable to recollect the things. The reason is you are not storing the information in the proper manner. Like the books which is stored in the library, it is arranged in a proper manner. If your brain is able to arrange the things in the proper manner in your brain, then you can easily retrieve it. The fourth phase of learning is the retrieval phase. It is the ability to recall. Okay, it is ability to recall out the information that has been acquired and stored in the memory. So we have acquired and we have stored something in the memory, and we are able to retrieve it. Unless and until you retrieve it, then it is of no use. So you have to retrieve it whenever it is needed. The process of information retrieval is very imprecise, disorganized, and even mystical. Why it is sometimes it is difficult for us to retrieve? The reason is whatever we store in our mind, okay, it is disorganized. You have to store in an organized manner. If you store in a disorganized manner, it is difficult for us to retrieve it. Then imprecise, it is not completely stored. Half part of the information only we receive. So because of that reason, we are unable to retrieve it. And even mystical, right? So we can say that why we are unable to retrieve it, because it is disorganized. It is disorganized in our memory. Okay, there are types of learning. Now we go to the types of learning. So there are, according to Kane, there are 8 types of learning. They are signal learning, stimulus response learning, chaining, verbal association, discrimination learning, concept learning, rule learning, and problem solving. So according to Kane, this is the simplest of all is the signal learning. Okay, then you go to the stimulus, next step. Then you go to chaining, then you go to some verbal association, then you go to discrimination, then you go to concept, then rule, then last is the problem solving. The highest level of learning is the problem solving. Okay, first is the signal learning. Signal learning is involuntary learning resulting from either a single instance or a number of repetition, again and again you repeat it, of a stimulus, which will evoke an emotional response in an individual. Okay, one emotional response is coming out from the individual, it is evoked in the individual, right? It is involuntary learning. It is you or don't know that something you are learning, but because that again and again repeatedly that stimulus you are coming across that stimulus for many times, and because of that something is evoked in the individual. Okay, so in order for signal learning to occur, there must be a neutral signal stimulus. Okay, there should be some signal stimulus should be there, and second, unexpected stimulus that will evoke an emotional response in the learner. So when the stimulus comes to us, and what it is evoking the emotional response in the learner, which he or she will associate with the neutral stimulus. So that is associated with the neutral stimulus. Okay, in the example of the